And that mutual friend was like, he was cheating on you the whole time. The whole time. You know, if it wasn't one girl, it was the other girl. If it wasn't that girl, it was the next girl. Like, there was always somebody. There was always someone. And when she said that, you guys, you can't believe the liberation that came from that. Because, mind you, this whole time, the whole, 4 or 5 years that we were broken up, I was living with guilt. 4 or 5 years of pure, unadulterated guilt and shame and everything, because in my mind, he didn't do anything wrong. I left a good man who didn't do anything wrong in my eyes. I didn't know he was doing that stuff. So in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I just destroyed a human being. I destroyed a human being. How am I ever going to live with myself? That was 5 years of that guilt that I was holding on to. And I mean, holding on to it tight. Even after I got rid of the key, even after I knew he had moved on with another girl, I still held on to that guilt because I knew it would never be the same again between he and I. Even if we saw each other on the street and passed each other on the street, it would never be the same because of me, because of my actions. And that's what I held on to. And it was a very disturbing feeling to hold on to. And when she had said that, gone. It just disappeared. It just disappeared. And it liberated me from this cage that I was living in, that I put in over myself, And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so now we fast forward to the here and now. And I'm a teacher with my own magical business that is doing very well. I'm still singing in my band, which I love to do. And everything has fallen into place. And I ended up finding someone that I know is the love of my life. I'm now married. We're working on a family. And everything is just amazing. And that all... Now, mind you, this took 6 years. In total, this took 6 years to happen. But it all started with that voice, with that inner higher self saying, Leilani, you gotta go, girl. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be doing this. You gotta go. It started with that and with me listening. Everything after that was just a side effect. It was a result of that choice. It may not have seemed like it at the time, because there was a lot of dark moments. There was a shadow. I fell into a depression and had to do a lot of shadow work. There was manic points where I tried to go back. There were losses and gains and this and that. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride. It was an absolutely insane roller coaster ride. But throughout the whole time, I never lost faith and I never lost hope that I would hear that voice again, that I would be guided again, that I knew it was there. And all I had to do was just calm down, listen. And every time I did that, it came through. And every time I began to experience joy, another new revelation exposed itself. Every time I let go of something, good things came my way. Immediately. Like, it just was like it was like clockwork. Looking back on those last 6 years is like watching an orchestrated show and watching a conductor go through the motions. But I'm watching it from behind and I'm watching the conductor, who is me. How insane is that, right? So my point is, to some of you, this story might be like, oh, come on, girl. Okay, so your big prophetic story is that you had a huge breakup. That's it? That's your thing right there? So for some of you, it might not be a big deal. And for others of you, this might be a life changer for you. My only advice is this. Every once in a while, it's important to unplug. Because it was the silence that allowed me to do this. It took him going away for 2 weeks and to leave me in our house alone for 2 weeks with silence. It was that silence that allowed me to hear that voice. Up until that point, he was there, the music, the music, the friends, the this, the that. Like, there was stuff happening all the time. I was distracted all the time. I didn't have time to listen. Never let yourself be so busy that you ignore spirit. Never put anyone, including your partner, the one that you love with all your heart and soul, before you. And even when you think the decision you're about to make is absolutely insane and makes zero sense whatsoever, if you believe it, if you know without a shadow of a doubt that this is the choice you need to be making, despite how much it's going to hurt, despite how much you're going to lose, despite how little you know what's on the other side of that fence, do it. Because that is your guide. That is your higher self saying, girl, I got you. Or whoever, I got you. You may not know what's on the other side of that fence, but I know what's on the other side of that fence. And don't worry, it's going to be a lot better than this. You just got to push through it. I hope this was helpful. This is actually the first time I have been able to tell this story without crying. And the reason why is because I had let go of all that guilt. Anytime I spoke about this story before, I was still holding on to that guilt. And I'd cry every time I talk about it. And I would always make myself, in the story at least, always make myself seem like the bad guy and always made him seem like the innocent one. And now I'm talking about it and it's neutral. Hopefully, to the listener, I hope that I don't sound like he was a bad guy and I was innocent. I hope that I didn't come across that way because I feel neutral about it. Like, I feel like it's just another chapter in my book, And I wish him the best. And he was one of my first loves, and he will always be one of my first loves, and that'll never change. So I hope he's doing well. I hope he's happy wherever he is. But I also hope he knows that him not taking me back, all those times I tried to come back, was the best thing he could have done for me, and that I thank him for that. And I think that that was his spirit telling me, or telling him to do the right thing. Because that's another thing too. Everyone has these higher spirits. Everyone has these guiding lights within them. And not always do we listen. Usually because we're distracted. Or usually because it's something that's telling us to do something we don't want to do. But he listened. And I thank him for that. So that was my story. Please be kind to me in the comments. It really took a lot to get this personal with you. But if you have any questions, or if you need some guidance, if you're going through something like this right now, where you're not quite sure where to turn or what to do or how to stop and listen, send me a message. I'll see what I can do to give you some inspirational words, But just know everything is temporal, you know? The pain does pass. You know, the hardship will pass. Just stay hopeful, stay faithful, keep moving, keep listening to yourself. And every day when you wake up, say thank you to your higher self for getting you through yet another night and for guiding you through yet another day. All right, guys. Well, I love you all. Peace and blessings. Make sure you share and subscribe